Hello, and welcome to another Tech Articles. In today's article, we're going to talk Shore Mail, and I asked a question in a Facebook group a few days ago, a week ago, about setting up Shore Mail via the WP-config, and if it was possible, or another way of setting it up that wouldn't require me going through the GUI as part of the setup. Now, I believe this is coming, but um, I'm not a big fan of initial setup via GUI. As you'll know if you've watched any of my videos, I have a utility plugin. I utilize it to do all sorts of things. Between that, things like Foundations for Bricks Builder, which is another of my plugins, and a fork of Task After Install that I've got on GitHub. I don't set up anything manually in WordPress. It's all automated via plugins and snippets and the utility plugin. So I wanted a way to do this for ShoreMail. And so I've got a local install set up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at what I've started to include in my utility plugin as of today. So I have a version of that website installed now here. And this is the very first of those websites that I just showed you in local that is running and ready to go. And you'll see here we get a ShoreMails auto setup pending define ShoreMails API key in WP-config to complete setup. So what I'm going to do is get this ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to local, and I'm going to open the site folder, which should open up here, and we're going to push these back here so you can see a bit better. We'll go to public WP-config, which is here. I'm going to open WP-config, and you'll see it's a standard WP-config. And what I'm going to do in this very first example is I'm just going to grab a set of define constants and put them straight into my WP-config. So, like this, I'm going to push save, and that's done. I'm going to close that down, go back to our website, and I'm going to refresh the page, and you'll see there the nag has gone. And the reason the nag has gone is because it is set up. So if we quickly go back to local, and I go to database and open adminer, it will open on this screen. And if I go into the options, even though I haven't got ShoreMails installed currently, we will see I now have a brand new ShoreMail connection set up and ShoreMail auto setup done tag, all automatically added to my options database. And that's because the snippet in my utility plugin has run. In addition to that, it has also disabled the snippet that's in my utility program, so it's no longer running in the background to run. So if I go here to selected snippets, there's no longer ShoreMail snippet activated here. The only snippets that are activated are the ones I want. The ShoreMail one has now been done. It has added its flag to the setup here, and that means it's not needed anymore, so it's been removed. So we're all set up with ShoreMails now. Now, as I said, I haven't got ShoreMails installed. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to go to Add Plugin, going to type it into here and install it as such. And once it's installed, we'll activate it. And you'll see straight away we have an email connection set up from Tech Articles with a send email option here. So that's what we're going to do next. Test at wpcode.dev. We're going to send a test mail, and it tells us that was sent successfully. And if we go up here, at some point we will get an email. So while we wait for that email to come in, oh, there it is already. There's our test email to tell us our emails are set up exactly correctly with our API key, and we're good to go. So that's the first way that I can do it. And for sites on, for example, into WP, definitely the way I'm going to do it. I edit the config and have it added straight into the config. It's easy to do, one-time setup, done. I can even delete them out of the WP config once the setup is done, and there's no leakage from there either, even though the API key is in the database. So it's all there, done and dusted. and that's the end of this site. We've set it up. We've got Shoremails working exactly as we intended. As I was writing a snippet anyway, I've also written another way into this and a few more options as well, because, well, you might as well have some options available to you. And I'm not going to go into all of the options available to them. I will put them in the article that goes with this video. But I just wanted to show what it can do and how it works. So we've done the straight paste to WP-config setup. So I'm going to close this down. Actually, I want to close it down. I'll go here and I'm going to stop this site so that it's no longer running. And then I'm going to launch this one. Close this one down. So just like our first one, this has now got a pending setup for Shoremail's API key. And what we're going to do now is something different. I'm going to open the shell for this site, and it's going to open a command prompt because I use Windows. And I'm going to run two commands very quickly via the CLI. So I'm going to paste this one, and then I'm going to paste another one straight away afterwards to set it up. So I'm going to set my API key, which is done, and then I'm going to set up my setup emails. So all of my configuration is now done. I'm going to go back to that site. I'm going to refresh that site, and you'll see here it's telling me that it's set up. I'm going to open Adminer again, and if we go to options and select data and go back to our options, you'll see here again connections are set up, and they've been set up using the detail that we've just done. And that is set up and ready to go. So if we were to download Shoremails again and set it up and do a test, we will get another email. So let's do that and activate it. So that's done. Again, we have a connection. We're going to send it to ourselves again, like so. And again, that's sent. And that is just by running those two commands. So I can now set it up either via the CLI or straight directly into the WP-config. And you can see here I've had that email sent and sent over to me. The first one I set it as Shoremail. This time it was set as tech articles. I'm going to delete both of those. I'm going to come out of this site. And what we're going to do now is we are going to open the third site. So I'm going to close this down, and we're going to go straight into this one, which again is set up with exactly the same. And this time we're going to view the database before we've done anything. So there's nothing to show that there's nothing in this database, and then we're going to do that CLI commands again. So if we go into our options table, you'll see here that we've got none of those options available to us. And if we go to selected snippets, you'll see here there is one that says Shoremails config. That is what gets removed when we run it via the variables. So we're going to close that down. I'm going to once again open our CLI. I'm going to prep our commands, and I'm just going to get the other one ready. So this is just putting our API key in, and this one is adding the rest of our variables. We are done, and if we head back to Adminer, you'll see here our connection has just been made. And if we refresh this page, we are done. No setup was needed here. Nothing was done except for the CLI commands, and it adds it to the database. And as previously, the selected snippets to run, it has removed the Shoremails config. So that's how this snippet works. I do mine via my utility plugin via Ninja Updater, because I install it on every site. It gives me access to my custom repo, for example, and other bits and pieces. So I've got a custom repo. It allows me to install bundles. It allows me to do a lot of stuff. So it makes perfect sense for me to have it there. I've added it to the automatically started snippets and had the snippet remove it from being activated once it is run. I've put a flag in there. I've also added a CLI command to remove that flag so you can run it again. But I'll detail more of the CLI commands that are available to you in the article that will accompany this video. I just wanted to show you how it works in practice. Hopefully that's been useful to you. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.